government textbook, and it's a textbook out of print. This is a textbook, though, for policy people. This is a textbook for PhDs and academia. Kind of like Carol Quigley's Tragedy and Hope, also 1,100 pages. This treatise is 1,100. And Tragedy and Hope was commissioned by the State Department and the CIA. They were to print 1,000 copies. He was allowed into the official histories of the British Empire, how it had taken over the U.S. with the Federal Reserve Act, how they controlled fascist and communist, how they funded Hitler, how they funded Stalin, and he just brags about it all. And that's Bill Clinton's main mentor from Georgetown. And it's thousands of dollars to get an original of one of those, though other groups have pirated it and republished it. And you can do that with government-funded manuscripts. So you can get a copy of Tragedy and Hope out there if you'd like to. Now, this textbook dwarfs that. And everything that Carol Quigley in '68, when he published that book, has become somewhat passé. We got Al Gore calling for world government. We've got the Canadian Prime Minister calling for world government last week. We have the Pope last week. We're going to play those clips calling for a new world order, world planetary government that you pay carbon taxes to. Ratzinger. Benedict, whatever he is. But the point is, all of this is going on and happening right now. And so all these years we told you about that, and oh, we're kooks, oh, we're crazy. And I'm like, hey, look at these government documents, and look at these Rand Corporation documents, and look at this congressional hearing about it, and you'd laugh, oh, that doesn't exist. Well, now you see all over the news admitting a world government. Remember this article I made a big deal out of? We're going to play a clip coming up later of U.S. News. ABC News said, oh, well, billionaires, the richest in the world, met to help humanity, but wouldn't say what the secret meeting was. But then the organizer of the meeting talked to the Times of London and said, well, the British are ready to hear this. We met to discuss how to reduce the world population through a world government. Here's the Times of London. This is as big as the New York Times worldwide. This is one of the biggest newspapers. It's in the top 3 worldwide. And the headline is, Billionaire Club in Bid to Curb Overpopulation. America's richest people met to discuss ways of tackling a disastrous environmental, social, and industrial threat. See, they're the heroes. They're the saviors of the world. This is how they phrase it. This is how they pose it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real. You know, the good news is I was on ABC News and Drudge and a bunch of other big sites, and it was Al Gore calls for world government. Russian president calls for world reserve currency. Pope calls for world government. At least now you know I didn't lie to you about all that over the years you laughed. And now they're calling for George Monbiot, big writer for the London Guardian, was in a big story a couple months ago where hundreds of top journalists called for a planetary government to carry out the green carbon taxes and population reduction. And Monbiot came out Friday with an article we covered and said, I want to restrict all free speech and have government certification of blogs. Nancy Pelosi's been calling for that. The federal government's been calling for that. A fairness doctrine, not just over talk radio, but the internet, where you're not allowed to criticize planetary warming and you can't say the sun's causing it. They're actually calling for that to be a form of hate speech, and the House has passed, the Senate's set to pass, the hate crimes law, saying that they can basically list whatever they want as illegal. Same thing with the Cyberbullying Act. It's all happening. These people mean business. Now, they would all be overseen by a transnational, centralized planetary regime that would utilize a global police force, these are quotes, to enforce the measures outlined above. The planetary regime would also have the power to determine population levels for every country in the world. Compulsory population control laws, even including laws requiring compulsory abortion, could be sustained under the existing Constitution if the population crisis became sufficiently severe to endanger the society. And he said in 77, we'll use the threat of global warming to push this, which they admit isn't even real.
That's right. Climate change, remember, as they said in the Club of Rome quote, is just the symptom. It's humanity that's the problem.
And they said, the head of the CFR, while writing for the Club of Rome in 1992, Richard N. Haas, said it's a double pincer. Stage terror will be used for the police state to build it, but that police state's really to carry out the forced sterilizations and the green tax and the new home inspections and the control. Okay? The other side of the pincer is the environmental movement and is the new priesthood. And they found the article with him. The first time he had a meeting with the press, he said, we got to terraform the planet. Keep going, Aaron. I'm trying to find the blimp image.
Well, it's just that his very quotes say they're going to seize the children and that the parents will have to then go apply to be parents, basically.
That's it.
That's Nazi Germany.